So today, our adventures in the studio, we have this beautiful pendant that Kim has made with this lovely scallop bezel. We have this delicious chalcedony here, just all juicy and fat, which is everything I like about a cabochon stone. But what we do have is a naughty ding. We have a ding or maybe an opening. I'm not 100% sure when this happened, but it happened. No big deal, but since our bail and everything is on there, I'm gonna fill it in, but we're gonna have to kind of take some steps to protect the bail, because anything up in the air, if you've ever noticed when you solder, it loves to reflow and move like an asshole. If it's flat, it'll just sit there, you know what I mean? You don't have to worry about it. But anytime like a jump ring or anything's up in the air, you know you're gonna have to take like extra precautionary steps to keep it from doing something naughty when you're doing something else. So the simplest method normally is just to grab it with a third arm, because the third arm, the steel is going to kind of block the heat and it's going to keep it from flowing. There's also things like ochre and our custom blend Noker. But if possible, if I can do it, I'm just going to take a steel third arm, clamp it over the part that I'm trying to protect, fast and easy, and it doesn't really require any like dirty cleanup or whatever. So that's what I'm definitely going to do with this. I'm going to take the third arm and I'm just going to go like boop. You see what I mean? Because that way I'm protecting all of it, so it really can't get that hot.
That's right.
Okay, and then I'm going to set it up over solderite board and get the right position pointing up and everything to put my solder in there. But this is just kind of like the best way to start. Pause that. So I clamped the bail in the third arm, and then I just sort of fooled around with it and raising it up just to get this in a position where I can easily sort of access the spot that I want to deal with. So I just kind of fooled around with it until I felt like, okay, this is good. You know, I'm going to be able to easily see what I'm doing and poke what I'm doing, which is, you know, the two things I'm usually trying to do when I solder. Okay, so what I'm going to do with this, I'm going to put a little paste flux on top of it and just dry it a little. And I'm going to make a couple pieces of solder, a couple balls of solder. I'll stick one in there, I'll melt it. If that's it, yay. If not, you know, we'll stick another one in there.
Oh, okay.
When I'm filling a thing like this, I'm not really going to worry about the solder flowing very far. Normally what I'm trying to do is just get the solder to like melt into a little bit of a puddle and then get the hell out, because I don't really want it to spread all over the place. I just want it to like overfill that little area so that then you file and it's all filled in, you know? So I'm gonna go add some hot water to this because this looks absolutely horrifying. And I'll be right back. So now that we have paste flux that's not totally horrifying, I'm going to put a little on there, I'm going to dry it, and then I'm going to ball up some solder. And something I probably talked to you guys about before, I never bother using a brush because I burn them all the time. I'm apparently unteachable when it comes to that. So years ago I just stopped using them and I use the tweezers, and now I don't burn any more flux brushes.
That's a double.
Oh, a double zero? Okay, well, yeah, let's go for the zero. A little more power. Thank you. Oh, it's fully trapped. Oh, there it is. Thank you. And I don't want flux everywhere because I don't want the solder to want to run everywhere. So I try to keep it at least relatively local. You know what I mean? Like that. Okay, so you have medium solder. Well, you know what a complete psychopath I am about cutting my own solder, so I'm going to do that because it makes me happy. I'm sure you guys have seen me do this before. The easiest way, you know, to cut is to cut a little fringe and then put your finger on the outside, and then that way. So I didn't make really super tiny balls because when I'm trying to fill in, I don't want to have to put like 15 balls in there. You know, I want to put 1 or 2. So it's one of the rare cases that you want to overflow the spot so that you have enough to fill it in and clean it up and have it just blend together.
That makes sense.
So make a solder ball, you're right on there, like so. All right. See, the reason that I pre-dry the flux is that usually if the piece is a little warm and I dip the ball in a little bit of flux, it'll just stick there. And don't get me wrong, when I start heating this up, this little bastard's gonna wiggle around and I'm gonna need my tweezers to poke it. But I do use the flux a little bit like glue a lot of times to kind of at least relatively hold it in place. Okay?
Yes.
You know, I'm not gonna lie to you, that does look good. I think for giggles though, I'm gonna add one more piece because I feel like there's still a slight dip there. Right? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like right there.
Yes,
So I'm just gonna put one more piece just so that, you know, just so that we have plenty to clean up with. Yeah. And you know, if you use too much, that won't work. But you can use the paste flux like glue within reason. There we go.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna move, and Alexis, if you just take a nice juicy close-up of that, because that's what you kind of want. You want that little overfill so that when you file, you're not taking down the whole rest of the area to get down to that little spot there. So get in there, please, and try to get a juicy close-up. But then all it is pickle, you know, file, and then we'll get back to setting your stone.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure.